Hello, I'm Skid from Widescreen Gaming Forum. Today I'm going to be giving you a look at Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn. Now, Final Fantasy XIV is a MMORPG, and for those of you that are unaware, this is actually the second time that they've made this game. To give you a brief history of effectively what went on, they originally released this game 2-3 years ago, I think it was. And it wasn't received very well. It had a lot of good ideas, but it was mixed with a couple of really bad design decisions and some bad execution. The result was, as I said, it wasn't received particularly well. They did their best to effectively update it and iron everything out and make it better, but the damage was already done. So what they then decided to do was remake the game, and this is the product of that procedure. So this is the second iteration of it. They've changed a lot, they've kept a lot as well. And they've also moved the story along. Basically, this happens immediately after the end of the original. So with that in mind, we'll log straight in. That reminds me, there's one other thing I should say. They're doing something rather neat. Because this is the second iteration, or rather, this is actually a remake of the game. If you had an account in the original game, all of your characters will be moved over to the new game. You'll lose access to some things that aren't in this game, but for the most part you'll keep everything else. So my Conjurer was level 10 when I got it, because that's how far I got, and when I got here, or loaded this in, I was level 10 as well. Basically at the minute they've segregated off the world. You see these ones that say Legacy, is that right? These are effectively all worlds that contain characters from the originals. As it stands in the minute, this is during the beta, new accounts can't be created on this, but you can transfer characters between these. At the minute I'm on the Japanese servers just because I didn't transfer it over quick enough, so I should be moving over to this one here, I think it is, eventually. I'm expecting that once they're sure that there's no issues with the character transfers, then you'll be able to transfer to any server, and then new characters will be able to create on these, so you can join friends who already play the game. But yeah, we'll jump right in it. I'm going to just select that, log in. Loading takes so much longer when you're recording. Don't worry, this is just a cut screen. The game is in fact horizontal plus, which we'll show you in a second. There we go. It's a lovely horizontal plus, same as the original I believe. Also you've got full HUD there. I'll try that again. You've got full HUD customization, so you can move everything around. I'll bring up the main menu, show you that. Now, this isn't the most expansive system I've seen, but it's certainly among the highest. As far as I can tell, you can't actually resize any of these elements, but basically if there is a HUD element for it, you can move it. So that's really, really nice. Most things can be resized. There is a bug at the minute I really need to report this, I've not done it yet. Pop-up windows like this have a tendency to forget their location a little bit and appear somewhere else where they're not supposed to be. So every time I normally have my map around here, but every time I log in it appears around here, so it's a bug, I need to report it. But again, this is a beta, so it's not too much of an issue. But yeah, if I spawn a load of windows, you can put them wherever you want, and they will largely remember where they were. So, I should show you the options, just so you know what settings I'm using. The game doesn't currently have SLI optimization. I think the SLI drivers are in place, but they haven't done the optimization on the game side, so it won't actually make any effect on when you're playing the game. But yeah. Resolution was there to begin with, I didn't have to change it, and where are the graphics settings? There they are. I'm not using the highest settings, but I've got most things on. I think I've got anti-aliasing off, I normally have it off. Yeah, anti-aliasing is off, but most things are as high as they will go, and I'll get 60 frames per second most of the time. Even with it recording in here, I mean, it'll be better if I go outside. But yeah, frame rates seem fairly smooth and good, and again, that's without proper SLI optimization, so it should be good. Graphics in general are actually fairly good. There are some textures and things like that that aren't quite that nice, but that's not a proper sentence. There's some textures and things that aren't as high quality as they can be, but the aesthetics of the world look very nice and they all blend together particularly well, so there's nothing that looks out of place. So it's a very pretty looking game. There we go. I've not seen anything with textures popping in or anything like that, so everything's been good. And it's raining out, and it's night time. So yeah, graphics are good, gameplay's... Oh, I'll get to gameplay, sorry. But yeah, one of the things, or a few of the things that I should mention with regards to things they've changed and things they've kept. They've kept the ability that you can learn every single class in the game, and you can swap between them on the fly. You still have to effectively start with your main class, which will either be Discipline of War, so your Gladiator, Pugilist, I think that is. Basically it's a brawler. Marauder, Lancer, Archer, Conjurer, and Thorn Move. I've never known how to pronounce that. I started as a Conjurer, so this is my guy. Once you reach level 10, you can then apply for any other guild, so long as there is a guild headquarters. Well, not even a guild headquarters, but a guild presence in the city that you're starting city. As it stands at the minute, Conjurers, Archers and Launchers will all start the same place that I'm in at the minute. I forget its name. Gridania? So they all have their HQs here, so if you start off one of those classes, you'll start here. In order to get a new class, I will show you, since I've not done it yet, and I've got everything I need for the Arch class. All you need to do is find one of their outposts. That way. That way. And then just apply. And they will, once you've reached level 10 on your main class, you'll be able to just quickly apply and swap to the other class. Now, classes are leveled up independently. So once you create a new or join a new class, you'll effectively be in level 0 or level 1, which you shall see in a minute. So there's the guild receptionist. We talk to her, tell her we want to be an archer. Apply to join the guild. Some history about the guild and about archers. So now I have to go talk to the guild headmaster, or guild master. And just like that, I can now be an archer. So if I go to my armory chest, this is actually a fairly neat feature because you can swap between classes on the fly. Rather than having all of your inventory slots filled up with armor and stuff from each of the individual classes, you have this armory chest, and this holds effectively all your armor. So if I take my bow and drag it into this slot here, I am now an archer, and I am now naked. So let me equip my level 1 stuff that I kept, just in case of such an eventuality. There we go, all done. So I'm now an archer, and just like that I swap class. Now if I also go to my gear set list and add, I will add this archer and I can drag it to here. Let me just add all of these onto him, because your hot bars are effectively one for each class. So, or rather, the class you are has its own hotbar setup, so you'll have to reset them up each time. which isn't that much of a hassle really. Because once you've set them up once, then all you need to do is push a button and you can quickly swap between your classes. So just like that. Oop, wrong button, that one. So the classes I have at the minute are my Conjurer, which is my main battle class, Botanist, which is a Discipline of the Land, which is basically a gathering class. I have a Miner, although I can't actually use it in here. Basically, my Miner class I got in the original game, but there's no way for me to get it in this particular city, and I don't have the ability to go to the other cities yet. So, since there's no mining nodes, I can't actually level it anymore. And then I've got Carpenter, Weaver, and Alchemist. But yeah. So that's all it takes to start a new class, and then you can just level up as normal. But I'm not going to do that. We're going to go have a look at some quests. Now, one of the main issues with the original game was its lack of quests, pretty much. Basically, you had to grind a lot because the way the game was designed was with effectively the ability to learn multiple classes in mind. There's nothing inherently wrong with that, it's just how they implemented it. Basically, the only quest you could do amounted to daily quests, and you could only do something like 6 of them in a day. And once you had done them, then if you wanted to level up the class you had to grind. There was nothing else you could do about it, you just had to grind. Which wasn't particularly good for your main battle classes. They've fixed that now, or at least it's a lot better. There are a lot more world quests, and there are other type of quests to boot. So, they still have levy quests, which were effectively their daily quests, and you can still do these. Basically, I think you get 2 allowances every 12 hours. However, they stack up to, I think it's 24, it might be more than that. And then you can just burn through them all at once if you want to. But yeah, you can effectively only do 2 of them every 24 hours, and that they amount to daily quests. But they're daily quests that level with you, so these ones are my battle quests that I can do if I want to. Fieldcraft quests, so if I wanted to I can do quests for my Botanist, which will help me level that quicker. Tradecrafts, again, they're just requests for individual items, but they'll give me extra EXP, so it'll help me level crafting quicker. But we'll do a story quest. Now, I will note this is a story quest, it's a level 14 story quest. I was hoping it was level 15, never mind. Because I started at level 10, I'm still well ahead of where I need to be. I've been trying to catch up, I've not got there yet. But yeah, this is a story quest, so it may contain minor spoilers, but I think there's 50 levels at least in the game, so if there are any spoilers, they'll mostly be setting up for things further down the line rather than being outright spoilers. There's no voice acting, I don't think there was in the original, but that's not bad. There's basically just gestures and then mouth syncs, so. The sea to the first bow the quivers hold, which I believe is the archery guild that I've just left. That's a bit of a pain. I don't have a mount yet. I think I get them at level, I think it's 20 I read. But it doesn't actually matter because you can't use them within the walls of a town. Yeah. So the Conjurer is effectively a white mage. In fact, there is a white mage just running right past. He's effectively, I'm not sure when it happens, but at some point you can effectively choose an upgrade to your class, I think. And White Mage is obviously one of the natural upgrades to the Conjurer. Those things let you teleport around the city. We'll get to them in a bit. We'll also get to Chocobos. They are Chocobos in the game. Is he inside? He is, he's around the back. I guess this was a good quest to stop at. It looks like I'm going to get to show you a duty. So yeah, quests are fairly standard. There's nothing much out of the ordinary. They normally... There's not so much gather quests, there's a few of them, but for the most part it's like, go here, kill this. Apologies, my windows are open because it's hot. I should have paid attention where I need to go. Where is the Guardian Tree? It is in the Central Shroud. Over there, so... Right, Chocobo to there. So yeah, these are just city teleporters. If I teleport to the big one, then I can use the big one if I wanted to teleport to any other big one that I've got. So I could, if I wanted to, teleport straight to... Oh, that's within, that's the wrong one. Ah, no. I have a spell. I meant to cast the spell. Yeah, there you go. Teleport spell, so I can teleport to any of the crystals that I've found. Or if I don't want to waste the money, and I don't mind waiting for a minute, despite the fact I don't have access to a mount yet, I can either rent a Chocobo, excuse me, which as it sounds, it lets you rent a Chocobo for a period of time, but the second you effectively jump off the Chocobo, then it will run away, so I'd have it for 10 minutes. The other thing you can do, I will actually rent a Chocobo because it's not going to take me exactly to where I need to go. The Chocobo porters will effectively, they're fast travels, but they will take you along the route, so they'll effectively travel yourself, but as I said, it takes a minute, that's 5 gills to get to somewhere near where I need to be. But I will instead rent one because I've got plenty of cash. 10 minutes. I'll probably go into crafting and gathering after I've done this quest, a little bit more detail, because it's worth mentioning how they've implemented them. They're not, well, one of them's similar to the original game, but yes, it has this music. Yeah, gathering is a little similar to how it used to be done. But they have changed slightly how crafting's done, but they are neat systems, so they're worth mentioning. But yeah, I'll get to that later, after I've got that. Let's close that. So that's up there, which basically means it is this way, I think, unless it's that way. In fact, it might actually be that way. Indeed, it might be that way. That goes up. Is it through here? Ah. Yeah, that's above me. These little things here, they're fates. I forget what the acronym means, but basically they're pseudo-dynamic events. They're events that can occur at specific positions on the map. That's a different quest. Yeah, I'll talk to him in a bit. So yeah, fates are effectively... There we go. I'll get there eventually. Fates are effectively pseudo-dynamic quests. Basically, they have fixed positions, but they appear randomly. So yeah, they're basically world events that appear all over the map every now and again. There's a fair few of them about. I think the webs, or they say there's currently 100 of them, with more planned. So yeah, there's a lot of them about. It's nice every now and again because you'll wander into an area and either a fate will start or a fate will be there and you can just join in. So it's very much similar to how rifts work, and then all systems that have been invented since, or I say invented, that have been spun off from it. So it's a nice system. It does give a reasonable amount of dynamic, or make the world feel a little bit dynamic, although really it's just timed events. So the other thing to mention about fates is effectively, if you're too high a level for one, then what it will do is there will be a button up here and you can level sync. So you can pull your level down or push. I think you can't. Actually, I have no idea whether or not that's possible. I don't know whether or not you can push your level up to be effectively within range of the fate. But yeah, certainly if you click the button, it will pull your level down so you can effectively take part in the fate and not be overpowerful. So, let's talk to this guy. Yep, this is a duty. Duty effectively are instances. So you can take your party members in with you if you have them, but yeah, they're effectively scripted events that occur within an instance. So they're typically done for boss battles within the main world so that random people can't just be... can't just interrupt and help you or kill your boss for you. Compared to some of the other trees around, that's not a particularly big tree, but apparently it's very important. Lancers, archers, more archers. I better remember to buff up. Pick off the weaker ones first. Let's break that spell. My shield didn't go down. Oh, it looks like they are conjurers about somewhere because they're healing. Combat is pretty much your standard. Yeah, combat is pretty much your standard. What do you call it? Just hotkey affair. So there's not much in terms of sort of like action combat or anything like that. Map. No need to have that open. Ah, crap. Who cast heal on me? That wasn't me. Because effectively I'm a healer, I don't have a very large variety of attacks. I have 3 of them effectively. Everything else is a heal. Well, a heal or a buff. Yeah, out of the way of that. Not quick enough. Compared to the level 15 Conjurer quest, that wasn't particularly hard, but then that was a level 14 quest. I am 16 now. Him again. We haven't been formally introduced. So I'm so noteworthy that I now must be killed specifically. I've seen him a couple of times before, but time to heal again. apparently I can't apply heavy on him, that's a pain. He has a ranged attack. He applies a dot. I don't think I have cleanse yet. I think that's the next ability I get at level 15. Probably going to have to use a pot. These guys are back. I had everything under control, I was doing okay. Although that said, he has a lot of health. Excuse me. I don't like interrupting cut screens, even if there isn't any audio in it. She has a point. Another crystal. That's the second one. That one's more ominous than the last one. What level's that thing? Level 14 Fate. Why not? Since we're here. So yeah, combat is reasonable. It probably doesn't help the fact that it probably doesn't help the fact that effectively I'm a cleric. So I'd like to select him. Ah, damn you! I've got to stop using tab to select monsters. It selected the wrong one. But yeah, combat's okay. It doesn't help that I don't only have 3 combat spells at the minute. But again, that's because I'm effectively a cleric. Nope. Is that thing healing itself? Come on, you're the more tanky of the guys here. Yeah, I think this fight's probably going to go on forever if those two have abandoned us. Yeah, you just ran away and it just reset it. That's the problem. You're not continuing the attack. I'll heal him, just keep attacking him. If he lets him reset again, I'm going to give this up. I'm here, so I might as well help out, but yeah. And the other guy's just standing there. I need a better mana recovery potion. 60 is next to nothing. What would be really helpful is if that other person over there actually attacked. This doesn't make for an interesting video, but I'm committed now. Nibble, nibble, nibble. And we ran out of time. Since people are polite, I don't even know if they speak English. I am on a Japanese server, they probably don't. Right, so I will give you a quick look. Yeah, looking at how long I've been playing. I'll give you a quick look at the gathering crafting systems now. Now, how far do I have to go to find the nearest tree? Or more specifically, a tree that I can gather. Wait for these to cool down. Oh, never mind. There are things that I can gather over here. So what do we have? That's up there, so that's no good. That up there? Or am I walking right past it? Ah, there we go. Tree! So yeah, the gathering system. Basically, whenever you find a node, this little thing pops open. Now, it's not, well, it's a little bit as simple as just clicking one and trying to gather it, but I have all these skills down here. If I bring up the total list of skills that I can get, these are all the skills that I can get in relation to gathering. So, because I've never gathered from this kind of node before, I don't know what this and this is. And I have a 10% chance of finding out. Now, I have a skill here, that if I use it, that should make it 15%. So let's see if we can find out what this is. Nope. There we go, so that's an elm log, so I can now gather that at a much better rate. You can gather, I think it's about 6 times from the same tree. Nothing. Yeah, so you can gather about 6 times from the same node. And every time you successfully gather, you gain a multiplier. I will show you just on the wind shard because it's 100%. So yeah, if I just gather this, that's 1. And I've got chain 1, so I now get more experience. And then, although it's not increasing, it's probably because it's too low. There we go. So if you look down here, you can see I'm getting more for each gather attempt, but it's because this is effectively a level 1 gather that I'm not getting much for it. But yeah, for the most part, that's the basics of the gathering system. There are other little things, so at around about level 8 I gained the stealth ability, which, as it sounds, lets me go invisible, although I can't run about. But I think as it stands, yeah, level 20 or below monsters will not attack me even while gathering. So even if I start harvesting this, they won't attack me. Which is very, very useful. I'm betting that is an elm twig, or an elm branch. It is not, I am wrong. But yeah, you gather or level up and gather in the same way you would level up any other class, either by performing the class or by doing quests or levy quests for the class. Now a little bit later on, what's my next ability? Reveals the condition of obtaining high quality items. Increases the chance of getting high quality items. Basically down here, GP, gathering points, are things that I can use on these skills when I'm gathering. So this one here, Mastery 100, will increase my chance of gathering anything by 50%, but it costs 300 gathering points to use. So that's gathering. So what about crafting? So let's go to carpentry. Carpentry or crafting is a little bit more involved. Similarly, there's a lot of skills with it as you level up. I'm fairly sure I don't have the materials to craft anything at the minute. Oh, I have just enough to make elm lumber. So that wasn't an entire waste. So, now they describe effectively crafting as being effectively very similar to the battle system, and they're not wrong with that. Basically, durability will decrease every time I perform an action upon effectively the wood of whatever I'm trying to make. And progress will increase whenever I do basic synthesis, or later on when I do where are you, standard synthesis, etc. So that will increase progress and most actions, so this one here and basic touch will decrease durability. So effectively you can see durability is effectively your health and progress is the health the health of whatever you're trying to craft. So that's why they say it's a lot like the battle system. Now quality here is increased by performing actions like basic touch, standard touch and advanced touch. You can also chain in other things, so inner quiet will increase control, and control also affects how much quality is increased by basic touch. So if I... Nope, that's not good. That's a 10% chance of failure. There we go. So durability is 10. If I failed this next attempt, then I effectively lose what I'm trying to craft. So I can use this skill here, which uses my crafting points, which reset every time I try to craft, to increase the durability by 30 again. There we go. So now I will use basic touch to see if I can't get a little bit of quality out of this. So I can get a bit more and a bit more. There we go, so 100 quality. Increasing quality effectively increases this as well, the probability of getting high quality. It recently added in condition here. Basically, if I remember correctly, touches, while the condition is good or excellent, will yield a much higher quality boost. And this skill here, observe, lets me just basically wait to see whether or not that increases. The condition of it is now good, so if I'd used basic touch now, I think I would have got double. But we shall use standard synthesis just to see if we can finish it. There we go. And because of my quality rating I got it gave me an extra 66%. But yeah, quality gives you extra experience, but it's mainly there to increase the chance of it becoming a high quality item. And that's pretty much how crafting works across the board. So all of them, or all crafting, have very similar skills, then just named differently. Oh, hold on. Yeah, mostly the same skills, they're just named differently here and there. But yeah, that's basically how crafting works. So it's a reasonably involved system. It has its own stats, so I've got craftsmanship here, which I believe affects how much synthesis and anything that increases progress works, and control, again, as I said, is anything that increases quality. So yeah, that covers that. Now, is there anything else worth mentioning? There's something I should have mentioned. Aside from completing quests, if we have a look here, in fact I can probably show you. Yeah, there we go. If I swap to Archer and make my way over, I believe it's that way. There's striders in this river, aren't there? Yeah, I want to avoid him because I'm effectively level 1 now. So yeah, another way of increasing your experience and your ranks without quests are hunting logs. There are similar sort of things for crafting and gathering, but they only basically the first time you get any particular item. So the first time I harvest any of these, or the first time I craft one of these, I'll get a bonus in experience points. So they're ways of leveling up, but the way to do it for standard classes, I get the feeling this is going to be a really bad idea because he's level 3, I'm level 1. Never mind, we'll see how this goes. Let's open that up in case I need a potion. I should be fine. So yeah, basically the Hunter's Logs are just small quests that you can do for a quick bit of extra experience. So they're basically just basic hunting quests. And in fact, you see this little icon over the top of these enemies? They're basically telling me that I have a hunting quest or a hunting log quest for them. Alright, so that one uses TP. TP is effectively your stamina, MP is your magic power. If this was using magic power, then I would only be able to fire one off at a time. While I find another one, let's try and think. Anything else that's worth mentioning? Yeah, I should probably mention that. I'll pop back to where I started later and actually show you, but the retainer system is basically still in the game. The retainer system is effectively a combination between the marketplace and a bank, but it's basically a personal assistant. That's how it's presented in the game. Now, the original... There we go. So I've completed that and leveled up at the same time, which is awesome. So, ooh, new skill. What's that do? Attack potency increases critical hit rate. So yeah, I will show the retainer system later if there's nothing else worth mentioning. Gone through that. All the standard social stuff is there. Link shell. I never really knew what the hell this was supposed to be for. I assumed it was some sort of guild type thing. I assumed, but I never played long enough to find out. But from what I'm told, your link shells get transferred across with your character. So if you have basically friends list or anything like that, or whatever that is, and you played the original, then they will be brought back into here. Yeah, I think that largely covers everything for at least for the starting point. I think I need to be level 20 to do some of the bits later. So yeah, I'll quickly show you the retainer, and I think that'll be about it, and this video is going to be over an hour long. But hopefully it was packed with information. That's what I'm trying to aim for. Valid information. If I'm getting it wrong, then I'm buggering up somewhere. Change back to my main class. I do love that. It does mean that effectively training up all secondary classes, well, certainly secondary combat classes, takes longer than your original class, but just the ability to have all of your all classes on one character and just hot swap between them at any time, I think that's a really neat idea. It's what I liked from the original. So we'll retire to the inn room because it's the quickest place to get access to my retainer. And summon my retainer. And there she is. So yeah, she's kind of... A servant is probably the best way of describing her. That's not really how they describe... I don't think that's how they describe it in the game, but... Yeah, you can entrust her with items, which is basically just your storage, and then you can also entrust her with guilds, which is your bank. And then you can also sell items, or get your retainer to sell items on the market. Now, those of you that played the original... Even though your retainer still sells items in the market, there isn't a physical marketplace anymore. Basically, there are billboards in the... Oh, well, there's not a marketplace for all of your retainers. There is a billboard within the actual market area itself. Let's see if it's actually on the map. Doo-doo-doo. Old. Is it marked? It is not marked. But yeah, basically this point here, this point here, this point here, this point here, looks like a notice board, and it's basically got market written on it, and you just access the market and you buy things straight through that. So you don't need to go hunting around every single person's retainer to try and find items that you want, and there's no convoluted system anymore. So yeah, you still use your retainer to put things on the market, but then if you want to buy something off the market, you just read them off the boards. So yeah, I think that covers pretty much everything. At least everything I can think of, and it's an hour. This video is an hour long, so yeah, it'll do. So yeah, thank you very much for watching. This game is still in beta. It's in closed beta stage 3. I think there's one more stage of the closed beta, and then it will probably go open. As far as I'm aware, this is going to be a subscription-based game. Whether or not it stays that way, I'm not sure, but yeah, I think the intention is that it's going to be a subscription-based game. I did read somewhere that people that were subscribed to the original, but there was a limitation to that. I can't remember what it was. But yeah, people that were subscribed to the original, I think it may have been beyond a certain point or at a certain point, will get 1 month free when the game is released. But you should double check that information. I'm fairly sure I read that somewhere, but as I said, there was a limitation to it, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, it's certainly interesting. It's looking promising. It's certainly a much needed step up from the original. They've removed pretty much everything that I thought was a particularly bad idea. The combat system is fairly standard, but that's not necessarily a bad thing so long as the game can keep you engaged. And despite the fact I was 10 levels too high for all of the beginners content, I've got up to level 15 and I'm still playing it, so... But in all honesty, I'm probably going to leave it there, largely because I don't want to end up repeating all this content again if they do a character wipe, so I'll probably wait until the game comes out, but yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. So, thank you very much for watching, and I shall see you next time.